So hi guys, my name is Shivam Kumar and you're watching Hodi Coder again. So today we are going to start from the next chapter. I think the next chapter is chapter 3, and the chapter 3, which mostly we are working on the s- request parsing, and we are going to follow this one, lecture 1. Okay. So HTTP works because plain text is binary, because HTTP use TCP. If the HTTP request or response is too big to fit in a single TCP packet, it can be broken up into many packets and reconstructed in the correct order in the other side, of course. So we already know that TCP is always sent in a order packet format, order way. Okay, so it's mostly reliable, and TCP guarantees that the data is in order and complete. Okay, so this is the benefit of using TCP over UDP. So our request line mostly, okay, so at the heart of HTTP is that HTTP message, the format that text is an HTTP request, a response must be in the form of RFC. So if I think many of you might know about the RFC. So I think RFC is kind of a guideline how to structure the request. I think this is how I will explain the RFC. What is RFC? Okay, so our HTTP message mostly contained a start line, CRLF. I think CRLF is what is the full form of CRLF? HTTP message consists of a start line followed by CRLF, and okay, give me a minute. I think CRLF full form. I don't know what is the meaning of full form of the CRF. Full form of CRLF. Saves the canister and line fed. Okay, stand for the carriage return and line feed, which is combination of two special character are register and okay. So one way Parmesan describes CRLF is register nurse, and this is how he's explained it. Okay, CRLF return is a plain text as a register nurse. It is a carriage return followed by the line fed feed. It is a Microsoft window and HTTP style new line character, of course. Okay, so you can see that how he call slash forward slash r forward slash n as a register nurse. I think it is easy to remember that what comes first, r or n. So let's so our HTTP message contains four part mostly. One is a start line, and next one is a field line, and next is register, and next is the message body. Message body, no, I think our HTTP request contains four part mostly. So I think we are going to work on the first part. So both HTTP request and the response follow the same format. Okay, so if you are going to request, then the format is going to be the same, as well as if you are going to response. I think the both format is going to be in a similar way, follow the same format, though the content of the each section will differ. We will get to that. Okay, let's start coding now. So run your TCP listener program and redirect the output to the temporary file. Okay, so let's create the new one. I think I'm going to create the new window here. So I think I need to run this. Let me see where all of my file are. Okay, so temporary is here, cmd is here. So if I need to run this, I'm going to copy one, I'm going to paste here, and T. So if I run this one, Okay, now it is running. let's 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 use the curl request. I think what is going to happen, let's copy this one and let's try to make a request. Make the curl request to our localhost 42069 slash coffee. Come on. Okay, so we are able to print the request actually. So connection is accepted. First line is I think this is a request line, and next is a host connection, and the user agent and the accept. Okay, so this is how the structure of the curl request look like. Let's check next one. Your curl command will hang because your TCP listener just listen. It doesn't respond, but you should see the request come in your HTTP listener terminal. Of course, kill the both program. Your RGPT will contain the raw HTTP request from the curl. Okay, so let's first of all kill this. Okay, so let's go into HTTP and let's open the new vim, and what I do need to find RPG. Okay, so I can see how my request look like. The first one is a request line, if I remember correctly. Cool. So this is how it looks like. My expected output contain all the. Okay, let's move to the next lecture. To be clear, here the startup will be built HTTP 1.21 up to date technology at a serious software organization infrastructure. To understand HTTP, it may be behove you to become familiar with the RFC, request for the comment. So full form of the RFC is request for the comment. At the moment, there are several key RFC for HTTP 1 widely referenced. So I'm not going to go into this because I think the content is quite big, and if you are going to run how should our request look like, then I think it's going to take a lot of time. Just you can see how big this one is. So I'm not going to go into deep here. We will referring to 900 9110 and 9112 as they have better separation format information and is much more to the endpoint, but make a lot of assumption that you understand the decent amount of 9. Okay, which RFC will be referenced for this course. I think he's saying that. Okay, so I think this one is. So you can see that I can't interact with it because I'm in a guest mode. If you want to want to I want to kind of interact with it. If you want to interact with it, I might need to buy the subscription. I don't have a subscription right now, so I'm going to move to the next lecture. So you probably already figured this out, or you know, but the curl is a command line tool for making the HTTP request. If you cat the raw file that you created, you should have something like this, of course. I think if I do this, I think I should remove the connection accepted. If I go into my main and connection accepted, if I delete this one, okay, and I'm going to go into raw again, raw. Okay, I'm going to delete the whole thing. Okay, and I'm going to run this again. If I do, okay, now it's running, and let's run the request. So you can see the request is showing up. Let's close the server and go back to here, and we can see how my request look like again. I'm not going to do the cat part because we can already see what's its contain. Okay, so let's go to this one. So this is what the raw http message look like. There's especially a raw http get request get slash goodies http 1 slash 1.1 header. Okay, so next line is called header, and the next of the next line called body. Okay, let's see what a raw http post request with the body look like. Okay, let's do this. Run your http listener. I'm going to copy this one, and I'm going to run this, and I'm going to t into temp. Okay, now let's run the curl request, and copy this. Cool. So this is working, and again this is a curl command will hang, but this time you might notice that the body. Okay, let me see what we contain here. Let me close the server and look, go back. What was the name of the file in which I am saving this? Raw post. Okay, raw post, raw post. So this is how our post request look like. So I don't see the body. Why? I think I should see the body. Again, this time your curl command will hang, but the line you might notice that the body isn't showing up yet in the TCP output, and that's because it doesn't end with a new line. What? Kill the curl command on your TCP listener and should finally flush the rest of the request line terminal. Kill the TCP program, run and submit the CLL test. Again, this time your curl command will hang, but this time you might notice that the body isn't showing up yet in the TCP listener output, and that is because it does not end with the new line. Okay, so how can I show this up? Let's move to the next lecture. You probably already figured out or knew that the curl is a command line tool for making the HTTP request, of course. And take a good look at the raw HTTP request we just sent to the TCP listener. Yes. And why I'm not able to see the message? I've noticed I have noticed the part of you. Remember that there are really just the four part of the HTTP request. Okay. You probably figure it out. No. Okay, let me check again. Why I'm not able to see? Let me run this again. And let me run the post. Okay. So what is happening? If I close this request, I think it is still waiting for the waiting for the body. When I close the request, it actually okay. So it is hanging. So it told me that it will hang. Yes. Again, this time the curl command will hang, of course. But this time you might notice that the body favor isn't showing up yet in the TCP listener output, and that is because it doesn't end with a new line. And with the new line. Okay, so if I close the hanging part, then the body is showing up, and I don't know the reason why it is happening, because it doesn't end with the new line. Body doesn't end with a new line. I think we will learn when we move forward. And let's just skip this one. Let's skip this one as well. Okay, so testing, one of the crucial part. And one thing I love about the Go language is it's a lot easier to do testing in this. I prefer bigger tests, high level to the smaller test, because I mean I can refactor my code was more aggressively without having to write a bunch of tests. I don't write the test for where every function. I write test for the function that I unlikely to get right the first time. So complicated logic like our parser, it is a perfect candidate for the lot of tests. I keep my test simple. Point 3 is why I tend to use testify and avoid the loop required for table driven testing. This is what the test should look like in a land way of doing things. Okay, if I prefer simple procedural approach. Of course, fewer condition, fewer things for me to get wrong in this test. Okay, so we are working on the request line parser. So we are only going to pass the request line now. Next we are going to pass the header, and in the next chapter I think we are going to pass body. So in this chapter we are only going to focus on passing the request line. So create an internal directory and the request directory inside of it. Okay, let's do this. Let's close this one, and I'm going to close this server. And what need to be doing, I need to create internal slash request file folder. So I'm going to copy this one and paste here and go back, and I think I'm going to go back here. We are in an internal request, and I think I need to create a new file here. Create a request.go file, declare that it's a part of request package. Okay, create a request test.go file, it also the part of the request package, or test will be go here. Okay, so install the testify package as a dependency in your module. Okay, so I need to create two files. First of all, I'm going to create request, I think request.go, and I'm going to write request package, go back, uh, request test.go, and I'm going to write package request part of the request. Okay, so they both are in a part of the request. So here now we are done with this one, now I just need to install the testify. To do that, I'm going to copy and paste here, and we got the testify as well. Okay, let's move to the next. Add a simple test that doesn't test any application logic yet, but ensure that you have testify setup. Okay, let's check this. So we already in the test part. I think copy this, and I'm going to play this one. Okay, and I think I just need to run the test go. Okay, go test. How is it written? Okay, so my test is working, that means testify is installed. Okay, let's move to the next part. We are done with this lecture. So what we have done, we have created a new module, new module request. Okay, in which we are going to pass the request line. I think we are also going to create a new module for header, and also we are going to create a new module for body as well. Separation of consent, beautiful thing. The concept is actually beautiful. Let's move to the next one. Now it's time to it is time for the best part of any project, the string parsing. By building a top of the TCP, we already have coded the handle the plain text data. Now we just need to take the plain text and turn it into the structured data, ensuring that it's follow the HTTP protocol. For example, our output look like this. So we need to create our structure, which we need to create an object which will store the information for a request line. Okay, then our application logic has a nicely structured HTTP data to work with. Our goal is to take the server we created in the last section and have it pass out the start line according to the RFC. A bit hairy to read because it's account for all the possible options, but the HTTP one is pretty simple. Okay, for now we are only going to pass the request line, of course. Remove your uses asset from this request.go file. Add the following structure to the request go. Okay, let's copy this one, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to make sure my main file is going to be this one. So I'm going to add this file to the my Hadoop Harpoon, sorry. And let's remove the previous one and save this. No, I think I need to remove the main one as well. Let's add this again. Let's check the Harpoon. Okay, it is now our main file. And next we also need to work with the request test as well, I think. So the next file which I'm working with is my request test. So I'm also going to add this file into my Harpoon. Let's check the Harpoon. So this is how it, I can just shift back. Okay, for example like this, I can just shift back forward. Let's add our, let's do what he's saying us to do. Remove your useless asset from the request test line. Okay, let's do this. Move to the request line and asset, sorry, move to our main file and copy this one, and I'm going to okay, now done with this one. Here it is better that the public certified. It's about a new function with a signature request from reader request error. The request structure represent a full passing HTTP request, but now we will just with the request line part. Okay, a request structure represent the full parsed HTTP request. So this is our main object, which is going to contain the all the information about our request, and this is the another object which mainly going to contain the information about the request line. Okay, so let's go and write the new function which is going to parse over the okay, so this one is going to parsing the full request. Okay, so I think I'm going to paste this one here. Okay, come on. Let's just return something. Okay, nil as well. Okay, let's go import the organize, and I think I am going to move this thing upward. Let's go back and add the following test to the request.test. Okay, implement the request from the reader function to pass the request line from the reader. Here we something to keep in the mind. So first of all, let's complete this. We are done with this full passing, but for now we will just work on the request line part. Okay, add the following test to the request test go. Copy this one. Let's move to the let's move to the test part. I think I'm going to paste this one here. Do I need to require something? GRA organize import. Okay, done. I think so. I need to write two function. One request from reader. Okay, this function which is actually reading the reading string. New reader dot new reader. New reader and string dot new reader and another one. So mostly we have to work with this function request from reader. Okay, so let's move to the main function request from reader. Let's follow the step. Done with this one. Implement the request from the reader function to pass the request line from the reader. Here a simple thing to keep in mind. For now you can slap the entire request into the memory using i.read reader all and work with the entire thing as a string. Okay, create a pass request line function to do the passing. Pass request line function to do the passing. Remember that the new line http r/n or not just. There are always three parts to this request line. Strings.split is your friend here. Verify that the method part also contain the capital alphabetic character. Of course. Verify that the HTTP version part 1.1 extract from the literature. Here are some additional reference that might help. But don't think this step should be pretty straightforward. Okay, add more test cases. Implement the request from the reader function to pass the request line from the reader. Here are something to read. For now we can slap the entire request into the memory using i.reader and work with the entire thing. I think I'm going to use i.reader here. So let's check this again. i.reader all. Okay. How should I do this? Pass request line function to do the passing. Okay, so first of all I think I need to read request line error. No. Reader dot all, I think. Reader all. read everything? Let me check how to use io.reader. So dot reader all. I will read the function that in the Go program language because they read all the data and I dot. Okay, so this is how it should be. io.reader is actually just simple object, file object. Just think about it. So I think I can do reader all. I think reader all, read all. Sorry, read all. Okay, and I think it is going to give me some kind of error if declare not used. Okay, if error, I'm going to, I think if error is not null, I'm going to return something, return nil, and request is nil and the error. Okay, declare not use. Okay, so what should I do now? I need to write a new function which is going to parse over the request line, and also need to return the request. So I'm going to write request request line, and line equal to I think the function name is pass request. We are done with this one. Pass request line. Okay, pass request line, which is going to take request line. Okay, and I think, and I'm going to return the object request line. Okay, so this one is going to be the address, undefined parameter. Let's write the new function func parse request line, which is going to take request line. Okay, and what will the format of it? Byte. Let's work with the byte, and I'm going to return the request line. So what should I do first? Let's check. So we have created the function. Remember that the new line in HTTP are /n, not just n. Okay, so I need to save the register nulls first. Let's go up at the top of it. I think I should put here var register nurse, dist registers nurse, rse nurse, I think rse nurse, and I'm going to go with a byte equal to slash registers slash n. I think this is how it should be done. Byte illegal run letters. I'm getting the same error now, and I don't know why. I'm not convert the RSS to the byte type. No. think this is how I should write. Okay, registerness is /r/n. No, I can do one thing. I can put this in a constant as well. But will it work or not? I think this will look much better. Let's do the parting part. So we are able to read the request line right now, and first of all I need to find out which part is a request line. To do that, remember the new line in HTTP as so our request line will contain, so this part is our request line, isn't it? It contains /r registers nurse at the end of it. Okay, so I think I can split the part. There is one way to do it, and which one should I use? I think I'm going to use request line index. Let's add something like that. Okay, byte bytes dot index of request line. I think this looks correct. And if, of course, if it doesn't contain anything, then I should return the empty or a nil, isn't it? Yes. And I think I should return nil. Okay, let's go here and give this to the pointer, and gra import bytes, and crf cannot use crf undefined string as sorry about this. Let me check again. Why did I do this? CRA, okay. What is the error? Cannot use CRLF undefined type string contain RNN as byte type value is argument to the byte index. So I need to return the, I need to have this is converted into byte value, array of bytes, or we can say mostly is a string, because string is just a array of characters, and so if the byte string, if we take a chunk of bytes which contain multiple bytes, then we can say that array of bytes. So that is why we should use square bracket here. Okay, if equal to here request index, and okay, so HTTP, now we can contain request line is going to be string. No, I'm not going to use request line until the request. Okay, so now I have to find out. I'm done with this. You can discard everything that come after the request line. Of course, I'm going to do that. There are always just three part in the request line. You can use string dot split is your friend here, of course. So we have three parts here mainly, and which are going to be separated by CRF, I think. if I remember correctly. Request line method sp, and sp is sp. What is the sp? Of course. I think I'm going to be separated by space, I think. And sp is, what is the full form of sp? I don't know. Start line. Okay, remember how HTTP messages start with start line? We will know. Well, if it is a request line, not a response, then the start line is called the request line. And here is a specific format. Let me check what is the SP here. Not chat. What is SP in this? SP method. SP stand for single space character separate. Okay, so single character space indicate that the single space character separated. I think I'm going to split with a single space. Yes. And we are going to use split n here. Okay, to make sure that we get 33 values. Okay. So, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the method, thod method slash request target, I think. Yes. Request target and http version. Okay, so bytes, let's convert, let's work with the byte. Yes, byte dot split 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 n. And I think the AI is giving us the correct one. And what is there? So split n, I think if you know about the split n slice the s into the sub slices separated by sep. Okay, and return the slice of the sub slice. Okay, between those separation, if sp is empty, the split n split after each UTF sequence. The count determine the number of sub slices to return. Okay, so if n is greater than 0, at most n sub slice. If the return is nil, and if 0 or subset, to split around the first instead of separate secret. So it will make sure that it gets separated by 3 character. If it doesn't got separated by 3 character, then what will happen? So if it doesn't contain anything, splits and slice s into the sub slice part separated by. Okay, so what is the n here? N, if n is greater than 0, at most n subslice, the last subslice will be the unsplit reminder. Okay, so if we have, okay, if n is smaller than 0, all subslices. At most n subslices. Okay, at most. At most n subslices. Last subslice will be the unsplitted remainder. Okay, so n at most n slices, but the meaning of at most n slices is that it will be 3, 2 as well as 1, possibility of 1 as well. I think think I'm going to play with this, or I should just go back and use the simple method. String.split in is your favorite here. Verify the method part only contain the capital alphabetic character. How should I do this? Let me see. I can do this thing in a two ways. I can do a simple way if I want to do this, but I think I will use the method. I think we'll work with the previous one. I think let's go undo. Okay, so I need to check it now. If any of this happens, okay, so if length of method is, if anything this happen, I just return the nil. Okay, now I just need to make sure, I need to check the method part. Method should be uppercase case, and I think it can only be, I'm done with this one. Verify the method part only contain the capital alphabetic character. So I just need to verify that it's contain the alphabetic character. Verify that the HTTP version is 1.1, extract from the literal format as well, only support HTTP 1 for now. Extract the HTTP. Okay, so method should be capital letter. Okay, so how should I do this? How can I check method to upper? If I think method to upper no, think how should I check the method part? To upper will return the upper byte. Okay, so I just need to check if it's upper or not. So another thing I need to check, verify that the HTTP version part is 1.1, extract from the literal format as well, only support HTTP for now. Okay, so make sure that it's also supported. So I think if method to upper is not equal to method I just return the nil. Okay, yes. And next I'm going to check for HTTP version. Yes, HTTP version. If first of all, I think I should split the HTTP version part, and I'm going to, there is two part in HTTP version. HTTP version part is 1.1, and start the literal HTTP 1 only support the HTTP 1 protocol and version. Then there is two part. So so what I'm going to do, I'm going to do HTTP protocol protocol and version. I'm going to split in the two part. Yes, and let's check this one. If first of all I need to check the protocol, if it's contained, make sure it's length, if it is equal to 0 or protocol tell protocol is not equal to HTTP byte. Yes, BYT byte HTTP. Okay, the first one is done. Next I'm going to check the version one. Length of the version should be, if it is equal to 0. Okay, next version. Okay, so this one looks correct. I'm going to return this. Okay, at the end of all of this, I just need to return the object. More test cases, I think I will just return the object. Return the object. Request line. HTTP version request target and method. So I'm going to request version. Request version. Oh, first, what is this? HTTP version, actually. HTTP version. I'm going to do string. Of course, a string is going to work. Range string and version. And next one is, I think, come on, request target. Okay, request target, and this has to be, yes, this one. And the method, the actually method is also string. Method. Okay, so I'm done this here. And what is the point? Mismatch. Split and compile. Assignment match to variable but byte split. Okay, let's see there. Assignment match to variable but byte split return one value. What? Okay, I think it's written the array. Might be the reason. Okay, so I don't think this is how it works. So I think I need to check how to do this. How to assign, assign array indices to different variable in a one line. Array indices to different variable in one line. And I think this is how, of course. So we can't directly do this. I think I need to access the each part of it, which is going to be complex. Okay, no issue. I'm going to version part. I'm sorry, HTTP version parts. Okay, and I'm going to delete this one and DAW, and this one looks correct. And why this one is creating the error? Version, I don't know. Let's go here, and I'm going to do request line and parts, and this one is correct. And I'm going to delete this one, DAW, and okay, so this one correct. developer. If it doesn't have, I think, does it? Method to string, no. strng string. If I go by this and I don't know why my LSP is not working. I think let me delete this one and let me check why this is creating the issue. Invalid operator byte flash can only be compared to the what invalid operation protocol slash http slash can only be so I am getting some kind of a type error, I think. So invalid operation protocol not equal to byte http to null. So slash can only be compared to the null. If that is so, I think I can do like, if it is a slice and let me check what is this. Okay. Let me check the theory here. AB, if I print the AB, what will I get? Go, it is possible to assign the variable to some array. I think I'm doing something wrong here. Of course, save it as well. Let's open this again and request go. If I go back, I think I should not be doing this. If I can spread this, can I spread this one as well? I think is there a way to spread the split slice? I think, let me check. SPREAD, spread the slice in Golang. Spread the slice in Golang, I think, something like that. So if I get the array of integer, I can actually spread it. So if I can spread this, I don't think this will work. So how should I respond to this? I'm going to, I think, mismatch. Okay. Assignment mismatch. Three variable byte, but bytes returns one value. One value which is a array, and so it returns the. Okay. So I'm going to write request line request line part part request line part, and I'm going to do this. Okay, so I have to check first of all length of request line. If it is not equal to 3, and request line, actually, what is this? Okay, no, not like that. Okay, and this has to be 3. If it is not equal to like length of the request line part is, then I should return nil. Okay, and so I'm going to check one of them. Let's have a method which is going to be this one, and so I need to check the first indices of that array request line part is going to be method. Okay, so method, if method to upper undefined, type byte has no field to method upper. Okay, so how should I check this? How should I check the upper, whether it is upper or not? I can do one thing. String, if I can convert this one to the string, I think string will contain much more. If method dot, I don't know why. I think there one way to do this. I can check the capital letter. Okay, if I can write the function to check capital CAPITA capital upper to check upper case. Yes, so I'm going to take string here and BWL, and I'm going to loop over it. First of all, range s, range on s, range over s, and if just if to check it. Okay, if r is smaller than a, and or r is greater than z. If this is out of that, I think I should not check this one. Return false, false, otherwise return true. Okay, if r is smaller than a, capital A, and in between those. I think this is correct. I should not put here. Range should be in between now. And I think if r is greater than a and it is smaller than a, I should is capital is uppercase true. If that is true, then I can do is uppercase. No. Come on. Is uppercase and if r is greater than and is smaller than z, also equal to okay. I think this should be here. If r is to check everything. If that is the case, if it's come into the range of a and z, then I'm fine with it. Otherwise I'm not fine with it. Okay, so I can do one thing. I can just continue. Otherwise, continue. Okay, continue. Otherwise, return false. I think. Yeah, let's see, false. I don't need to. Are you true? And I think I can remove this one. Okay, so if it is in between, I can just continue, move to the next loop. If it is not the case, I think this should work. I think this should work. Okay, so now I have done that. I need to just check it. So if uppercase, return null. Okay, and next HTTP version, which I was working on. So I need to have two parts, and I think I will do like this. I'm going to contain diw. I'm going to push it here. Come on. I'm going to write version as a version. Okay, and I think I will just delete this one. And protocol what is HTTP version first of all? Okay, so HTTP version is going to be into part of 3. Okay, no, sorry, 2, and the request target is going to be 1. So I'm going to request target is going to be 1. Okay, and I'm not going to convert this one. And this one is correct, and I'm still receiving some error. And why is that? Split n, and I think I should request line is to be here. So now why this error? Part 1, part 2. Okay, let's see. Invalid operator protocol minus file slice can only be compared to nil. How should I see this? I don't know. Method. Invalid operator. Okay. Request line. I think I should convert this to request. Okay, and request line is okay. Request request, okay, and I think this is going to return something like nil, and this one is a request line, but it is an array. It is an address which I'm returning. I think yes. So I need to return like I think this one. Okay. No, I don't know why it is creating an issue. Let me check. My protocol is creating problem. My LSP is showing me the error. Invalid operator. Okay, let me check why these errors come out. Yank it. No. Come on. Yank it. Let me check why this error. First of all, invalid address operation by slash can only be compared to indicate the fundamental rule in Go. Slash cannot be compared directly using operator expector when checking if slash is nil. Okay, to fix this issue you must use byte.equal function that standard the byte package to compare the both content of the byte slice. But why can't I compare these values? Why is that? Oh, sorry. Byte. Okay, sorry. I'm creating the array to compare it, which is a good bad idea. Wait, cannot convert 1.1 untyped string constraint to the byte. I think there is a issue. Array of bytes. One thing I can do, I can simply convert this to string, and I can just remove this one, and okay, I think string. I think this can be done, and I think everything is working fine. Let me run this. If we get the, if we see any kind of error, then we will see how should we do this. Okay, let's run this again. I think I'm going to run this like so. We got the fail part, and why are we getting this? Invalid memory address or nil pointer dereferencing, and so invalid memory address or nil pointer dereferencing require panic. Okay, so at some point we are accessing the nil pointer. So I think I should check for other thing as well. Just let me print it first of all. Yeah, no, fmt dot print here anti-print ln, and I think I'm going to create the request line. Let's see what happened. And the fmt, okay. So come on, I need to convert this into byte. String, convert into the string just to see it. What the hell? String string, okay, and let's check this again. So what I should do this here and print his here. Request line, okay. I'm going to add this one as well. Yes, request line, not like that. What? Let's check this again. So here we are. Okay, so I think I should check. No, I should add next line character as well. Let me clear it first of all. Clear it and run this again. So we are receiving this one. We are working with coffee, and the next one which doesn't contain the get part. Okay, so this is creating the invalid memory address or a nil pointer dereference. I think the last one is failing us. Doesn't contain. What if get is not been contained? Split n3. If I'm not able to get 3 parts, then I'm returning the nil. Okay. What does it expect us to do if nothing is present? I think I will go here, get. It accept the error actually, t containing the error. So I should return some kind of an error, isn't it? Not nil. I think I should return the error. Yes, actually I should return the error. So one error which can I can write like request the syntax error or protocol error, something like that. PROTOCO article error. I think I will do this, and I think I will just return if return new throw. Actually I'm going to throw error new error. I think what how should I throw the error? I don't remember. Throw error in Golang. So the syntax look like empty. Just written no. Okay, so I can do this. Print fmt.error. Okay, so I can write like protocol error. Okay, I think this should work. Okay, so invalid memory address or nil pointer reference, dereference, segment violations. fmt dot return nil. Can I return this? No, I can't. How should I do this? Read file if print an error is. No, I can return actually fmt error, and I think I'm going to return error as well here. Of course I'm going to return the request line, but I'm also going to return error. Okay, and index fmt protocol error, something like that. I'm going to do print fmt dot error, and here also I'm going to return nil as well, and fmt error. Okay, and of course here as well t, and also here L. Okay, so I'm going to also put where, and if error is not equal to nil, return the error. Okay, I think this should work. Okay, yes, so this is working now. So I think we are done with the first one. Okay, so we are done with this one, and we are done with this one. This, okay, I'm not going to check, I'm not going to write extra test. I think these tests are fine to work with. I think, yeah, done with this.